Well, hello again and welcome to another edition of Shed Talk, my weekly magazine style video series looking at the keeping, breeding and showing of cage birds with a particular focus on the exhibition style budgerigar. And we are well into the breeding season with the budgerigars. So in this episode what I'm going to do is, the first thing I will do is we will find a new partner for the bird that is in cage number 4. So, and we'll have a look at what that new partner is and have a quick discussion about what he looks like. But before we do that, a quick apology. I did say that I would try and get some photos or some video of the birds that were at Oxford 1910. Unfortunately, I was just so busy that with just, booking birds in and then taking these results, getting the results out, rosettes, checking we've got all of the trophies and all that sort of stuff, a normal show manager type stuff, but I just didn't have a chance to get any pictures whatsoever. I didn't get a chance even to walk around and look at the birds, so my apologies, there will not be any pictures of the birds at Oxford 1910. What I would say was there were some absolutely terrific birds, and well done to all those who won, particularly the winner of the Fifes, because there were, I think, close to, must have been nearly 100 Fifes at the show. So well done to all the Fife breeders for putting that number of Fifes out, and also well done to the winner of the budgerigars, because there were a good number of budgers. Well done to all the winners. And interestingly enough, there was a good number of juniors at the show. So, and I think there was something like, I don't know, 15, 17 junior birds entered, which is always good to see the juniors. And even more interestingly enough, the junior who won best junior actually got best zebra finch overall in the whole. So beat the champion zebra finch breeder. So well done to the junior for winning that. Anyway, like I say, I didn't manage to get any videos of that, so there won't be any of that. The other thing I hope to be able to do here is we can have a look at a couple of Fifes. There's a couple of Fifes in the flight that I want to get out and have a better look at and just compare them to the ideal. There are a couple of Fifes that I think look quite nice, so we'll get those out and have a look at those and, like I say, compare those with the ideal. So the episode might be a bit shorter than normal because I've been really busy this week with work and other such things. But anyway, we shan't dilly-dally with all the introductions. Let's see if we can find a partner for the cockbird in cage number 4. Well, I followed my normal process of looking at the birds on paper, and I actually just went down the list of hens to see which was the next best hen. I think I said that when I was a little while ago when I was looking for a new, or when we thought about a new bird for this, or a new hen for this cockbird. So I found the next hen that was in line, so the hen that came 7th overall, I think it was, and had a look at her, both first of all on paper, so compared her on paper to the cockbird, and there was some very good crossover here. So where I'd noticed that the cockbird was missing a few features, it looked as if the hen would improve him on there, and vice versa, where the hen was lacking in features, it looked as if the cockbird could improve on her there. So that was the paper sort. Once I had done that, I then got my breeding records out to make sure they weren't too closely related, and I'll talk a bit about that when we look at them in the breeding cages, but they're not too closely related is the outcome, the general outcome of that. And then the final thing to do is, like I say, is to get the hen out of the flight, pop her into the breeding cage with the cockbird, so not in the breeding cage, sorry, pop her into a show cage, get the cockbird out of the breeding cage and pop him in there as well, and have a quick look at them, a visual comparison to make sure I'm not missing anything obvious in terms of doubling up on faults in particular. So that's what we'll do now. I'll catch her up, then I'll get the cockbird out, and then I'll meet you over at the show cage and we'll have a look at them. So we have now found a new hen for the cockbird that was in cage number 4. So the cockbird on the left is the cinnamon sky blue opaline that you will remember was in there. and the new hen is another dark green, and she is a sister of the one we took out. So, and as you can see, very similar style of bird, really wide on the shoulders, and a nice deep and wide mask. Fair bit of feather across the top of the eyes and coming down a little bit. Could do with a bit more width there, and I'm hoping the cockbird will give her a bit more width across the top of the eyes. They're quite evenly matched in terms of feather density, so this bird is not quite as heavily feathered as some of her sisters. Both reasonable style, both quite reasonably big birds, although not massive. And yeah, I think these are quite well matched. So I'm hoping that we'll have a bit more success with this hen. Like I say, a bit more success than we did with the previous hen. In terms of relationship, the cockbird, you'll remember, is from the yellow-face family, although quite clearly not a yellow-face. The hen is from the blue family, though quite clearly not blue, but she is split for blue, but is quite clearly not a blue bird. So, and in terms of their relationship, they're quite distantly related, quite a long way back in fact. But in terms of inbreeding coefficient, it's around about 12.5%, something like that. And any offspring, if I remember rightly, was around about 9.8%, something like that, in terms of its inbreeding coefficient. So not too close at all, but there is a little bit there in terms of the ancestry. In fact, both of them have got a common grandparent or great grandparent, which was a nice yellow face sky blue that I bred some while ago, and actually quite a few of the birds have got him somewhere in their ancestry. You can probably hear the hen's not happy with this cockbird at the moment, but or not happy with him being too close to her at the moment. But I think that's just where I've taken her out of the flight and popped her into this cage. So once they're in the breeding cage, hopefully they will settle in. The hen looks like she's in reasonable condition. She's missing a tail, or tail feathers, but being the feathery type that she is, I think that she never seems to have a complete set of tail feathers. They sort of grow full, and then she'll lose one or lose the other one. He's got a complete set of tail feathers, so that shouldn't be a major problem. So that's going to be pair number 7, going into cage number 4. Let me know your thoughts on this pair. I think both on paper and in the cage they look reasonably well matched to me, so I'm hoping again we'll get something off of this particular pair. So new pair going into cage 4 and pair number 7. Like I say, let me know your thoughts. Well, I've got the Fifes out now from the main shed. They've not been in the show cage very much. We're going to start by looking at this heavily variegated bird, and then we'll move on to the one that's behind me, which is a variegated yellow. Like I say, first time they've been in the show cage or had any real time out in the show cage, so do bear with them just a little bit, but time to have a look at a few Fifes. So of the Fifes, then this heavily variegated bird here, 2024 rung bird, so this year's bird, hasn't been in that much show cage training, so do bear with it a little bit. And unfortunately, just before I decided to get him out of the flight, the bird decided that it was going to take a bath. So it still looks a bit ragged around the tail, where I think it's still a little bit damp. So what do I like about this bird then? Well, the first thing is this bird keeps catching my eye in the flight, and I don't know, it has a certain thing about it. So it's got, in my opinion, and this is just my very, very naive or very, very amateur look at Fifes, it does have a nice head on it. It's got a nice small head, but with a nice shape to it. There's a bit of rise above the beak, over the back, and then goes into a nice shaped back. He's not doing it at the moment. I haven't done it since I put him in the show cage, but he does stands really well up off his legs normally in the main flight, which is another good sign. So, or it's another good feature, should I say. If anything, I would go that his tail might be a little bit too long. I'm not sure, but when I see him sat on the perch, or her should I say, I'm almost certain this is a hen. When I see it sat on the perch, it does look as if the tail might be slightly too long. So what is it then? Okay, like I said, it's a heavy variegated, and I think it's a heavily variegated yellow. Although in this light it looks a little bit like it might be buff, but I'm reasonably certain when I see it in the flight that it's a heavily variegated yellow. And like I say, probably the bird I like most in the flight. Wings, carriage could be a little bit better. I know they should be sat on the tail. They're not at the moment, but I think when he shows himself, when she shows herself well, they are like that. So I want to give this bird plenty of show cage training, because I wouldn't mind getting him out at some stage, or although I'm not sure where I would get the bird out to this year. So like I say, I'm reasonably happy with this bird, and it's probably, I think, the best bird that I've bred so far. Views, of course, let me have your views on that. By the way, I'm going to take this bird and the next bird you're going to see to a meeting in December and get two experienced Fife breeders to have a look at this bird and the other one. So let's have a look at the other bird that I quite like, which we will look at now. And so this is the second bird we're going to look at. It's I think it's a variegated yellow hen. I'm going to see if I can get it to sit on the perch. It really doesn't like being in the show cage. Again, this bird has a nice shaped head, to me anyway. Again, I'm going to just talk for my very limited experience, but it does have a very nice shaped head when it decides to sit still. And the head does then go round into quite a nice little shape back on it. So it's got a nice round back. Tail it splays a little bit too much on the tail, and I might see if I can work on that over the next few weeks and months. Again, stands quite nice and tall. When it does stand, it stands quite nice and tall. And again, I think this is probably a little bit, not quite as good as the other one, mainly because of the tail. Wing carriage perhaps could be a little bit better, but it is a very nervous bird in the show cage at the moment. So with that in mind, if I can, I'll try and get a still picture of both birds and show you them both together at the end using a still. This bird as well, as you can probably tell, has spent the time before coming in onto the cage in the bath, so it was just drying out when I caught it up, and hence you can see the dampness of some of the feathers. I think if this bird settles in the show cage and I can sort its tail out, it is probably another bird that I would use. A hen, again, I think I might have said this, but it is a hen, so a heavily variegated yellow hen. I do have a number of cock birds off of this year's or last year's birds, so last year's breeding birds, 2024 run birds. And both of these are 2024 run birds. So again, views on this bird, let me know what you think. Like I say, not been in the showcase very much, so do please accept my apologies for them not being very well trained. And that's the second of the Fifes. Right, I'll pop those back into individual cages now. They're going to go into down in the Finch and Fife flight. These two are now going to go into individual cages so I can start giving them some showcase training. And I'll do that now. Well, that just about brings us to the end of another edition of Shed Talk. Don't forget, if you do enjoy the videos, please do give it a big thumbs up. We know that the algorithm uses the number of likes to promote it to other people, so more people are likely to find the video with the more likes that we have. If you're not yet a subscriber, then do subscribe to the channel, and of course for early notifications do hit the bell icon. In the next episode we might have a slightly shorter episode because I am going to be fairly busy at work. I have been this week as well, but even busier next week, so I don't have quite so much time for recording, so please accept my apologies in advance if the next episode is a little bit shorter than usual. But most importantly, as always, do stay safe, enjoy your birds.